in Esparto in Yolo County. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brady Halbleib. We're standing by for a press conference with officials right now. They're going to be speaking here in just a few minutes. They're going to be meeting with the Yolo County Sheriff's Office, CAL FIRE, Esparto Fire, and the Esparto Fire Protection District. And we're going to be taking some live pictures right here. As you can see, some people are just setting up the microphones ahead of this press conference here in just a few minutes. But we do have a reporter standing by. We're going to be heading over to Tori Apodaca, that has been speaking with neighbors and witnesses. This all happened last night. And Tori, I want to get to you and hear what you've been hearing on the streets at this point and what people are saying right now.
Brady, it truly was such a scary situation, what locals are telling us. Right now, we are on Road 23, just about 3 miles or so away from where that fireworks facility went up in flames. Started hearing those loud explosions. This road right now is blocked to traffic. You can see a CHP vehicle in the distance. But we have really just been speaking with locals today, and we're going to be getting more information, hearing from that press conference right now, and we're going to send it back to you, Brady.
All right, Tori Apodaca, thank you. We're going to be getting to you over in just a little while, but first let's head over to the press conference right now for more information on this. Let's take a listen.
That update, and then following that, we will go through questions. And then for spelling, for your editors back there, it's C-U-R-T-I-S, Curtis, and then Lawrence, L-A-W-R-E-N-C-E. And again, he's the fire chief for the Esparto Fire Protection District.
Right, afternoon, everybody. Again, Curtis Lawrence, Fire Chief here, Esparto Fire Protection District, jurisdiction having authority here. First off, I want to say I appreciate all of your guys' patience. I know you have been waiting for information, and we apologize it's taken some time. But as you know, this is obviously an ongoing, extensive investigation, so we're going to do what we can. I want to recount the events that occurred starting yesterday at approximately 5:50 in the afternoon. We received a dispatch along with some auto and mutual aid partners for a possible commercial structure fire and explosions. We arrived on scene to find commercial buildings well involved with numerous explosions and several spot fires in the area spread out throughout the area. We had numerous agencies responding throughout the county, along with our mutual and auto aid partners such as CAL FIRE. And what we had done at that time is we created a perimeter and started to contain those spot fires from a safe distance for what we could. As the incident went on and we continued to do assessments and risk assessments for the incidents, we widened our exclusion zone for the safety of not only our responders but also the public. After that, we had reduced the incident down to the necessary pieces of equipment to safely mitigate or safely manage the area and mitigate the pieces of the incident that we could get to. And then fast forwarding into today's operational period, similarly working to do a threat assessment of the area, a risk assessment, and as we've done that, we know that the risk is high in that area. There were, reports of large debris filled of large pieces of shrapnel spread out across a large area. So we maintained a wide perimeter, a wide berth around this area today into the day, and we kept our responders in a safe location, again, attempting to mitigate anything that we could mitigate from the area. And during this time included some threat assessments using things like drone footage from a distance where it was safe. After that, we're now, as far as my position as the incident commander here, my next priority is going to be working with the command team to start working on trying to reduce this exclusion zone so that we can start to get our constituents back into their houses and try to get what we can re-energized in the area when it's safe. Again, this is a very complex and ongoing investigation. It's a very complex and ongoing incident that is not completely terminated or mitigated. So we're going to keep the public and our responders' safety in the utmost regard throughout this incident. So, you have anything to add to that? With that, I will take a few questions one at a time. One at a time, I'll call on you guys. Go ahead.
Have you identified all 7 of the people unaccounted for? Are they all workers at the facility?
I'm not going to comment on the 7 individuals. that are unaccounted for. Again, this is an ongoing investigation, and we will do our best to get you information as we can get it to you.
One follow-up, are you communicating with their families? Because there are some folks here who say they don't know what's going on.
There has been communications with family, and I understand that it's not the communication that everybody would probably want to hear. But again, we are doing our best with the information that we have and the information that we can feasibly share. Okay.
Hi, Chief. When I checked on a former big fireworks show with the city of San Jose from 2 years ago, the representative comes back as Craig Cutright from Devastating Pyrotechnics. He also comes back as a volunteer firefighter from her department. Is he the owner of the property?
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on the owner of the property because again, ongoing investigation. I will give you the information because it is public that yes, Craig Cutright is an active volunteer firefighter for our department.
I have two questions. My first one, do you have any timeline on the people that are unaccounted for to know who they are or let their families know?
Again, this is a very complex and risky scenario right now, given what is going on over there. I don't have a definitive answer to that, but I can assure you that we're gonna work as fast as we can in a timely manner. Again, keeping our safety and the public safety in importance.
Was anyone taken to the hospital, and are any rescue operations underway for the missing 7 people?
Right now, given the risk, there is still a pretty strong exclusion zone around the area. That is an ongoing investigation related to the 7 people. I will give you that there were two individuals that were injured in the event in the initial event that did receive care that are okay now.
Are they still in the hospital?
Unknown to me right now.
Also, someone was talking about there was a warning that went out before this, some type of fire warning. Do you know anything about that?
No, not aware of that.
You said that you're going to be letting people come back in. How many people total were evacuated, and were there any people inside that house that were covered?
I will comment on the time frame. I don't have a definitive time frame. We are just working, and when it's safe in time, we're going to work as a command staff to do it when we feel it's safe for the public. It is a priority of ours. We know it's hot. We know that there's livestock. We know people want to get into their house, but without power out there, they're not going to have water. They're not going to have AC. So we have to do it in the right steps and in the right manner.
And how many are we talking about?
I don't have an exact estimate on how many people are displaced currently, but I know there's approximately 158 PG&E customers without power right now.
The family here told us that you guys told them that they wouldn't hear updates Saturday. Can you confirm that?
That information didn't come from me, and again, it's an ongoing investigation. I'm not going to comment any further.
Is there anything you can share at all about your investigation in terms of, is there a preliminary cause? Do you have any reason?
Ongoing investigation. We will inform you guys when we have the information and we're able to do so. I will add that CAL FIRE, Office of the State Fire Marshal, is going to be the lead investigator on this, given the severity of the incident.
Could you say whether Mr. Cutright was one of those injured?
Well, what was that, ma'am?
Could you take us a little bit about the response yesterday? I know that you guys didn't go, right away to the fire. There was a wait until you guys got to the scene. Could you tell us a little bit about the response yesterday?
The question was if I could give a little bit of details on the actual response from our units at the initial response. In the initial response, obviously, given the magnitude, if you guys haven't seen the videos, this was well visible from a surrounding area. We did send responders in, and they did become rather close to the incident. But again, as we started to assess the situation and understand the severity and the risks that were there, we did start to increase that exclusion zone and remove people back to a safe distance.
What kind of facility is this? Does this store fireworks year-round, or just because we're ahead of the 4th of July?
We know that the property is a pyrotechnics company that does do commercial display types of fireworks.
So year-round, their store there.
Again, what I gave you is what I've got.
Okay, so. And then why is it, or are you investigating this as a crime?
I'm not going to comment on the ongoing investigation. Again, the State Fire Marshal is taking the lead on the investigation.
Chief, what about inspections at the facility? Do you know the history of inspections and what they went through and the last time you inspected the place?
I don't have any records on me, obviously, when the last time they were inspected. I can say that we have done site visits at the location, and when we were aware that these facilities were there.
And they passed your safety inspection?
Again, I don't have that information on those inspections.
And the two people who were transported, what did they tell you that they saw, heard, or what happened?
Given that this is an ongoing investigation, I'm not going to go into those comments.
Just for clarification on that, those were not firefighters.
There were no firefighter injuries reported.
We've all seen the video. Have you ever seen anything like this?
I can say I have not seen anything like this. This is obviously an incident of great magnitude. This was, numerous people throughout this area, have seen this incident, and no, I have not experienced something like this. But I would like to add to that, our agency, being here in a local and a small community, we are primarily volunteer agencies, and I would be remiss if I didn't add that I'm really thankful and proud of all of our responders that stepped up yesterday and even today and came out here and went and faced something like that. So we appreciate all the responders and the mutual aid partners that came and assisted us with that.
I'm sorry, I missed what you said the two injured were firefighters or were not?
No firefighter injuries reported.
And some people who are missing, are they local people? Are they people from Sacramento?
Given it's an ongoing investigation, I'm not going to comment on the 7 individuals that are unknown right now.
How many years about how many crews actually responded and are working?
Currently or initially? Okay. Initially, there was over 30 fire apparatus that had responded with, tens and tens of people that responded on those apparatus. And currently, we're down to a pretty reduced units of about 3 to 4 apparatus at any given time right now working the area, just to continue to monitor for our first responder safety and public safety.
Are there any federal agencies?
Do you guys have to carry anything that could put out a fire like that in your department?
We are an all-risk department, and we obviously do our best to train for every type of incident, but an incident like this is like a once-in-a-career type of incident, and in the reality, there's nothing that we could have gotten close enough to. The risk is too high at a facility like this. But again, we do train and we do stay prepared for it as an all-risk agency.
What about federal agencies on scene, ATF, anyone like that?
Given that it's an ongoing investigation and I'm not the lead investigator, I'm not going to comment on that.
Sorry, the two people hurt, did you say, were they employees or live nearby, or are you sharing any?
I'm not going to share any further information on the 2 individuals. Did you want to add anything? I'm going to go ahead and let you add some.
Just one last question. The fire started at 5:20 something, and then you guys went inside like at 7, right?
Negative. Not having the information directly in front of me, I'm estimating the fire our dispatches were approximately 5:50 in the afternoon yesterday, and we had resources on scene within less than 2 minutes.
But in the fire, working the fire actively?
We were on scene and working the incident to the best of our abilities and safely within a minute.
So, again, we appreciate your patience as we work to verify all the information and get that out. And one thing that's important to remember here is, it's still an active incident that we haven't been able to get that seen. So a lot of these questions, we are still working to determine that information, then verify it, and make all the proper notifications. So you're going to have to continue to bear with us as we work through this process. This is going to be probably a lengthy investigation and response that's going to be ongoing here for a while. So at this time, we're going to end the conference now. Our goal here is to provide another update this evening for all of you on what's the latest. It's kind of a slow response here for that main fact that we can't get on site to determine everything that we need to. So we appreciate you.
What is going on right now? Are you just standing back and making sure everything's out? Are you sifting through anything?
Well, a lot of the process right now is we do have aerial reconnaissance going on, and that has been a big portion of the investigation at this time. But until it is safe to have first responders get at site, and we don't know when that's going to be. So that's where it's going to be. But again,
do you know how the bar for getting fireworks are in that facility? Is the owner able to tell you how many explosives, how many fireworks that you're dealing with?
Well, so yeah, this location is believed to be owned by an active pyrotechnic license holder. Part of our investigation will be to go through and determining the materials that were in there, and was a facility within our license requirements. So we do believe it's a commercial firework. They had commercial fireworks for public display at that facility. So again, we're going to end it right here. We're going to work to provide another update this evening. If there is something specific that needs research that we can work to collect for you right now, once we're done, I'm going to hang around and I could take those notes down and work to get you all that information. So
What about you finding the people? You might want to get out to the public. You might just be concerned. They've seen the videos, huge explosion, huge fire. Any message you might want to get out to the public, to the family.
So the greater, what do you want to address that one, the greater vicinity? So as far as a current threat to the greater Esparto area in this Yolo County, there's not a greater threat at this time. We are working on reducing that size of the threat zone, which is right now where that evacuation zone is in place. So residents of the greater area at this time are not under that threat. The ones that we're working to get them in, we're trying to determine that information through our investigation and through the whole process to see when we can start getting more folks in around the area. But for the greater vicinity, folks outside of the evacuation zone are not currently in danger.
This was just a quick follow-up on the license holder question that you had. You said that they were allowed to, under the license, operate pyrotechnic shows, produce pyrotechnic shows. Were they allowed to sell those pyrotechnics outside as well?
No, I don't believe I said it that way. We said we believe, the facility has commercial fireworks for public display. And we're working, part of the investigation, we'll be working to determine everything under that and what met the license requirements.
And again, why is it a crime scene?
Well, it's a crime scene because this is a very major incident, and the Office of the State Fire Marshal is leading that investigation, and we have to preserve the area for both to be able to conduct that investigation, as well as the safety for everybody involved, both responders and the general public.
Officer Jason Clay, investigation take? This type of investigation, how long would it take?
This investigation is going to be extended. We don't have a timetable on how this is going to take because we don't know how long until we can get on site and collect all the information.
Are you Officer Jason Clay? So how is it that you guys are focusing on moving the people back into the area, but you guys aren't focusing on the people that are stuck in the warehouse, possibly dead, as well as us family members who are worried sick, and you guys are yet to give us any information or try finding any of them at all around the areas who have escaped possibly whatsoever? You guys aren't focusing on the right things, and that's where the family steps in, and the family saying you guys aren't doing your job proper enough as to where we want the proper information as to what's going on with my boyfriend, as well as his child that's unborn, as well as her son, Johnny, and Jesus and Junior. 3 people that we've been focusing on. We were here since yesterday and have yet to receive any information, have yet to see any efforts, and have yet to see anybody go to try and find anybody at all who was stuck in the warehouse, who has tried to escape, who was possibly stuck under any of the debris of the warehouse.
Well, first of all, I'd like to issue apologies for the situation that we're all in here and wanting to collect that information. The reason we have not been on site to do that is because the danger presented, and ongoing danger at the presented.
You guys are supposed to deal with the danger, so why is it that you guys aren't dealing with it yet enough? It's turning into a crime scene, and it seems like you guys are in on it, in a way.
Well, we are doing what we can from the site through aerial investigations. Once that is safe for us to get on site, then we could probably do a little bit more. And we are...
That you guys are more worried about the civilians and the materials and the people moving in and re-energizing the houses or whatever the situation may be, but you guys aren't worried about the possible dead bodies, the possible...
No, that's a big concern of us. We want to get to the bottom of this.
You guys are more concerned about the people moving back in that evacuated. You guys should be more worried about finding the people first and then worrying about the people who are evacuating.
That is
people who have possibly lost their lives because of you guys not doing your job well enough, and because you guys not taking your job as serious as you guys supposedly do, and as you guys supposedly are first responders. You guys are there 2 minutes after the situation. If it was 2 minutes after the situation, my boyfriend, my brother-in-law, and my other brother-in-law possibly would have been out. There was also a 17-year-old inside of that warehouse. Were you acknowledged of that? My boyfriend's 18. There was a 17-year-old, an 18-year-old, a 23-year-old, and how old is he? And 28. And you guys aren't focused well enough on the people in there. When there's families sick to their stomach, losing sleep, being able to eat, drink water because of you guys not responding how one should. I have never seen policemen, firefighters slack your job and slack it so hard. And you can look away all you want, but this is the truth. We're all sick to our stomach, and we're all waiting on the information that we should receive until Saturday, when I want to know today. I want to know by tomorrow.
As do we. We want to know that information right away.
But you guys aren't trying well enough.
We are working through the process to get there so we can determine that all, inform our family members of the 7 individuals. So it's a painful period. We completely understand that. Don't take that we are not doing everything we can to get to the site to confirm, get information about the 7 individuals we're missing. So I'm completely sympathetic with the
people who have evacuated have moved in. I feel like you should brought that situation up first, the 7 unaccounted for, the people who are stuck in the warehouse. That should have been the first piece of information that you have released, not about the people who have evacuated. The people who have evacuated are safe. The people who have evacuated are okay. The people in there are possibly dead, have no life, and guess what? Their families have yet to know any information. I feel like that's the first piece of information that you should, that's the first piece of information that you guys should release. That's the first thing that you guys should be focusing on, besides the other people. That's like the second priority, the third priority. The first priority is the people.
Okay, we're going to go on to the next question. We should go on to the next question so we can continue.
What is, based on what this young woman said, what is the basis for determining when it's safe to go in? What are the criteria that you're going to be using to say you can actually go in and look for the family members here and the boyfriend?
It's tough to give a definitive answer on when that is going to be and what that actually looks like. And I just want to say I really understand your frustration, and I'm sorry that we can't give you all of the information you want. I really mean that. We don't want to have to stand up here and not give you the information that you want. And I just wanted to give you that because I felt you deserved that. To get back to that question, though, again, we don't have a definitive answer. We are going to work together with our partners in the lead agency that's doing the investigation on this to determine when the site is safe to get that close to the incident. And with that, I appreciate you guys all coming and being patient with us, and we will advise when we do another one of these updates. So thank you guys.
About the winds? Are you worried about the winds picking up today?
Is there ever going to be a rescue team? Thank you.
All right, so we just heard from Curtis Lawrence, the fire chief of the Esparto Fire District, and just towards the end of that press conference, you could hear that was Sayana Ruiz, and she is the girlfriend of one of the missing 7 people that are in there. She says her boyfriend is missing, along with her 2 brothers-in-law as well. And before that, we heard from Chief Lawrence, and this all started around 5:50 yesterday. Reports of explosions, spot fires, and this they first initially took this on as addressing those spot fires first before addressing the major fires. And of course, we have seen all those videos that we have seen of the fireworks that are going off. We had helicopter in there, being able to see a bird's eye view of what all of that looked like. But we do want to be able to get over to Kayla Moeller. She was just at that press conference just a few minutes ago. And to my understanding, Kayla, you were able to speak with Sayana Ruiz a little bit about this whole process and what she's been going through, and a lot of her family members are going through as well, because obviously at this point there are so many questions that they want answered, and you could see it there from this press conference just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, that's right, Brady. It really just wrapped up even less than a minute ago. There's really not much more information than what we already know. I did get a chance to speak with some of the family members here. This particular family says that they haven't heard from 3 of their family members. So that's 3 out of the 7 people who officials say are unaccounted for. When we, pushed and asked in the press conference. They just said it's still under investigation. It's still under investigation, and we'll let you know. The family here says that law enforcement told them that they won't expect to hear anything until Saturday. Obviously, the family out here, and I'm sure the other family members of the unaccounted people, are extremely frustrated, just like we saw in this press conference. One of the family members, she piped up and she put him in the hot seat. She asked a lot of questions. They're visibly upset, rightfully so. They are worried that there are their family members in there possibly under debris or struggling for their life. They are wanting people to go in there ASAP. However, officials say that it is just too dangerous right now, considering what's going on with the fireworks. I mean, all last night when I was here, I was hearing them pop, pop, pop going off. I have not heard them yet today. It doesn't mean to say that they aren't still going off. Law enforcement says that they are now using drones to kind of survey the area, using air reconnaissance, because to them, they just don't think it's safe enough to get personnel in there until they kind of can learn more and see what's going on with the aftermath of the fire. They're still trying to get some spot fires and things under control. It's really hot out right now. It looks like the winds are going to be picking up. So that's another concern that they're going to be having to deal with is the fire concern. There's the missing people, there's the fireworks, and then there's the fire concern right here in the peak of fire season. But again, there just really wasn't much more information given at this press conference than what I had already known and been reporting. They say that there might be another press conference coming on later tonight. But again, I did speak with some of those family members, and take a listen to what they had to say.
We last spoke to them around like 2 or 3 when they were supposed to be leaving, and then we found out about it through a report or something on Instagram, and we came instantly when we had left. There was still fireworks going off and everything, and I'm just praying to God that they're alive, that maybe they just need medical attention, that, I mean, maybe they're stuck, maybe they're stranded without able to communicate for help or something, but just positive thoughts I'm trying right now.
Yeah, so that was the young woman who spoke up during that press conference, because again, the family is alongside us, the media, listening to get information as well for the first time. But again, that information just didn't really come in this press conference, but there might be another one later. And then I will check back in with you as soon as I find out some more information, Brady.
Yeah, and Kayla, I did want to ask you, I know you've been reporting on this extensively this morning, and you were also there until late last night. I want to get an idea of what you witnessed out there throughout the evening, because, like I said, I know you had been there for quite some time, and obviously this is not a situation that even a lot of these firefighters have come up against. One of the, in fact, it was Chief Lawrence of the Esparto Fire District. He said this is a once-in-a-career situation for these fire crews. So I want to get an idea that since you were there last night, what was the environment like? What were you hearing and what were you seeing?
Yeah, Brady, that's right. This is a very rare situation and a very complex situation, right? So like I said, they have to worry about that fire, but then the fireworks that were just continuously going off for quite some time, intermittently throughout the night last night. They kind of died down. By the time I left, I'd only hear, a couple pops here and there, maybe every 30 minutes or so. But when I first arrived, they were going off. I talked to neighbors. They tell me that they immediately thought that there was an earthquake, and then they really thought it was an earthquake when the second explosion came, because they thought that was the aftershock. But then when the third one came and then they started seeing the smoke, that's when they realized something was really wrong. A lot of people around here before initial reports came out, they were telling me that they thought a plane had crashed. That is how loud and how much the ground shook. Another man described it as he could feel the ground moving out from under him. So this was just a shock to everybody. It still continues to be as we continue to get answers. And again, Brady, I will check back in with you later.
All right, Kayla, thank you for that. We'll come back to you in a little while. And as the Chief Lawrence explained they are not commenting on the 7 people that are missing. He says that they actually have been in contact with some of the family members, and we heard from one of them that was at the press conference just a few minutes ago. But he did say the information that they have been sharing is some information that they may not want to hear at this point. But of course, this is still a very active situation, and the perimeter for this whole situation is very wide. The risk assessment that they did last night and this today, they say, is still very high. So they do not want to be able to go in there to actually look into how this fire started, where those 7 people are. So of course, this is still a very active situation. But one notable thing is that this is a once-in-a-career situation for a lot of these fire crews. So you're hearing from Chief Lawrence something that he has not ever seen before in his career. But I do want to be able to get over to Tori Apodaca. She is in some of the surrounding neighborhoods where this is all happening. Tori, I want to get an idea of how the community is really doing right now, because Sparta is a fairly small town. It is in Yolo County. I wanted to be able to get a perspective from you of how this is really impacting the community here.
Brady, you said it there, that this is a once-in-a-career situation, so you can only imagine this is really a once-in-a-lifetime situation for this tight-knit community. We've been talking with locals out here. Right now, we're just off of Road 23, which is one of those areas that's about 3 miles from where that firework facility is. It's blocked off to traffic right now, but we were speaking earlier
23?
with a man that lives just about a half-mile away from that facility. He says last night that he was in his garden and he was outside doing some work. You can see that there's a lot of agriculture in this area. When he heard that first loud boom, at first, in those first moments, he tells me that he thought it was a bomb going off, and then he saw the huge mushroom cloud of smoke filling the air, and he immediately started to piece everything together. He says that firework facility has been in this community for over 30 years. He knows the family who owns it well. He also says he more than likely probably knows the people who were working inside of that facility. And that's because, like you said, Brady, everyone here really does know each other because it is so tight knit. That person I spoke with that's just about half a mile away, he tells me that the impact from that first blow actually blasted off his windows. And right now he is dealing with no power, no water. We heard from that press conference that there is at least 155 people that are still without power right now. And it is hot out here. It is nearly 100 degrees. So he spent the night and he's just trying to figure out what he's going to do to get either a generator in there. He says he's on a property that's been there for about 100 years. So it's obviously very old infrastructure that they're trying to figure out how to get back on the grid. And his heart, of course, also he's telling me that is going out to, of course, the family members of those folks who may have been inside that facility. And we will hear more from him coming up in our later newscasts, Brady.
Thank you. And like you mentioned, 150 people still without power at this point, no AC and no water. And the fire chief said that they want to be able to let people in as soon as possible. It is hot out there, but they want to do it in a fashion that is appropriate to be able to let people in when that power is restored. So, all right, Tori, thank you for that live report. And we're obviously going to have a lot more of this coming up in our 4:30 newscast, 5 and 6 o'clock as well. And we'll be sure to bring you the very latest information. For now, we're going to let you get back to regular broadcasting.
Leakage affected her life. That's why I'm so glad the Purex system is available for home use. It's an innovative option for women who experience moderate to severe bladder leakage. This external system uses a soft, flexible wick placed outside the body to draw